To my immediate left is Michael Kranda, who's the CEO of Beat Bio. And next is Gregory Maheras, who's the President and Chief Scientific Officer also of Beat Bio. And we're going to hear a little bit about their enterprise and also about the conference. So, Michael, Beat Bio. I'm sure you get asked, so why Beat?
Well, Greg and I had actually worked together before. He's been doing the hard work here. He took over this project, really worked with scientific founders for about 2 years to take it from the lab really up toward a stage of development. He gave me a call last summer, and I spent a lot of time with him. Was very impressed with the founders, other people's money. There's been some $50 million of government grant money put into this project. The individuals that were doing the work were really, world class in their field. And you take those kind of combinations, and Greg had really got it up to the gate. And so I did my due diligence, and again, he and I had worked together, and we've just been going full speed since. So jumped in January, really kind of remodeled the offering and kind of shaped it up, and we were lucky enough to go out and raise money pretty quickly. And we'll talk about that later, but in a very difficult space. I mean, preclinical assets are called all my VC friends. They're like, gene therapy, cardiovascular, preclinical. What is wrong with you, Kranda? And I said, no, this can be done. It's going to be good. And so we did it, and very excited about the prospects. And we're running as a virtual company. As I said in my talk, some people think virtual means you don't have to work. You do virtually no work. On the other hand, it really means you do virtually all the work with shorthanded. But it's a very efficient way. We're moving rapidly. What I really like is the people that are involved are really all really high quality, really smart, passionate, and both our contractors, our manufacturing group, the entire group is really fresh and dedicated, and you don't always get that.
So, Greg, I picked up cardiology. Give us a more specific sense of what Beat Bio is focused on, please.
Well, Beat BioTherapeutics is really focused on heart failure, and it is based on technologies from the UW, from our UW founders, where they discovered how to boost the output of the heart, and that extrapolates very well to boosting the output of the injured heart, where we see very marked increase in the performance of lightly injured or uninjured tissues, and it results in very dramatic increases in cardiac performance with relatively or we have no discovered ill effects at this point. So it looks to be very safe. We use a very safe method of delivery, and we have very significant potential to have extremely low dose therapy, which would improve already stellar safety profile, as we move through preclinical and into the clinic.
It sounds, tell me if I'm overstating, but it sounds like we're talking about actually healing an injured heart.
There is some data that indicates that we are getting healing we are healing depressed cells in the area of damage, but the primary thesis of our technology is that we are increasing the performance and getting the most out of undamaged muscle cells.
So cardiovascular disease, I mean, people everyone knows someone has it, but 6 million Americans living with it, and about 500,000 a year die. And I was surprised to learn that exceeds the mortality of all cancers combined. And so, and not only are you having this terrible prognosis, but your quality of life. And we're talking about inability to walk up a stair. Okay, the energetics required, the stress, that's called stress, exercise, and so you have these, a huge population that is categorized in stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. If you're in 3 and 4 stages, and you're literally relegated to a terrible lifestyle. You're taking every drug in the world. You're really on transplant lists, etc. So it's and it accounts for nearly 20% of healthcare spending is cardiovascular related. So it's a massive opportunity there. And if what we're talking about doing is taking people who are there and being able to improve their quality of life, their life with, so far, a single administration that would be done in a cath lab. So the opportunity here, both from investors and for patients and healthcare system, it's really extraordinary.
So just so I'm totally clear, we're talking about not just treating people who might have an acute situation, but people with chronic heart problems could be benefited from this.
Well, we're going to start at the injured, like you always have to do with drugs. How far back we move up, who knows? But the ability really to do is something as simple as we're doing, which is increase the pumping power. Ejection fraction is typically the way that's measured. Echoes, wall motion. These are things that you can see, and they, do contribute to the ability of the person to live a normal life, to respond to stress, and to extend their life.
So we all have a stake in this, obviously, and wish you greatest success. Talk a little bit about the conference. Is this you've been here before? Is this what's this one like?
Well, it's obviously I've been around these things a long time, and they continue to morph with the local environment, and hopefully this will help more networking and company starts. This whole technology transfer thing, I think obviously this region set up pretty well for that with these massive research centers heavily funded. And one of the most important things really is to increase the translation of that research out of, because it's called the gap or the valley of death or whatever you want to call it, between really brilliant science and then commercializable or financeable events to develop products. And so as the infrastructure here has grown up, clearly there's a few companies that have grown up here too. I've been part of a couple of those. But just to keep the momentum up and create more companies, because unfortunately, there is that old word attrition, but just keeping a healthy life sciences community, and this is obviously an important part of that.
Greg, the University of Washington has been putting increased emphasis on technology transfer, commercialization, however you want to call it. What's been your experience in working with the institution and trying to help achieve the migration of these technologies and innovations out into a commercial realm?
Well, we worked extensively with the University of Washington and C4C to put together and execute the license for these technologies. They have been extremely supportive of the technologies and of our company, both through the efforts at C4C and the W Fund. And so we are one of the first companies that has received money from the W Fund, and it is really, I think, that the nexus of what university spin-outs should be. And so with that support, I think we are very well poised for success. And
that's great. Well, this is exactly the kind of pathway that the WBBA and this conference wants to nourish and facilitate. So it's really encouraging to hear how things are going for you and Beat Bio. I never did get the answer about why it's called Beat Bio.
Heartbeat. Beat.
I had a hunch.
And we kind of...
it's not guys wearing black berets.
And it started out as a program project within the UW in a program to develop advanced biomaterials. And so it's bioengineered advanced tissues.
I had a hunch there was an acronym lurking in there somewhere. Well, terrific. By whatever name, let's hope that the beat goes on. And thanks so much for spending time with us today. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Nice to see you again.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank you.